Hello, my name is Catherine Green, and I am speaking to you from California. My family, the Krasnowitz family, owned Sunnyside from 1962 to the mid-1990s. I am the oldest of the 6 children in our family, and this is my telling of the story of this remarkable catboat in our lives. Catherine Halloran and Walter Krasnowitz, both born and raised in Stamford, Connecticut, fell in love and married in 1948. I was born in 1949, and over the next 10 years, 2 girls and 2 boys were added to our family. Here we all are in our family Studebaker. In 1962, my father Bucky, who was raised around and on Long Island Sound, found a wooden sailboat that he wanted to purchase and resurrect. My mother, Kay, also had a dream, and that was to add one more child to our family. A deal was made, and the boat was purchased in the fall of 1962, and Patrick was born in 1964. I remember the day the boat arrived at our home. It was raining, and I was walking to junior high when a flatbed truck passed me on the highway, taking up 2 lanes. I wasn't there for the landing, but it must have been a challenge since our house was on a hill and it had to be backed up in beside the garage. When I got home and saw the boat, I thought, what was my father thinking? A bottomless boat. And as you can see, Patrick also joined us in 1964, and there's a picture of Tom holding him with Beth and Tim looking on. The catboat was in the yard until the late 1960s. The name Sunnyside was chosen as a nod to my mother's fondness for Washington Irving's Hudson Valley home, Sunnyside, and Bucky's business location on Sunnyside Avenue. With help from his friend Peter Wells, Dad documented the resurrection. Sunnyside was in the background of our lives, Beth and Patrick sledding by. Here is Tom painting the bottom of Sunnyside at Marina America in Stamford, right before the launch. If Tom is there with you, he can tell you how his dad repaired leaks with a coffee can of sawdust and what Bucky used in place of a centerboard when first launched. Until finally Dad's dream becomes a reality and he is off. Bucky sails out of Stamford Harbor into Long Island Sound. Having a lot of kids helps when you need a crew. In the 70s, Tim, Patrick, Beth, Mary Ann, and Tom were favorites. Ship's logs of 1977 to 1980 tell the story of where Sunnyside went and when, what the occasion was, and who was aboard. The Hudson River, Oyster River, Mystic, Narragansett, Rhode Island, Falmouth, Osterville, Martha's Vineyard, Barnstable, Plymouth, Chelsea, Sandwich, Mattapoisett, Milford, and more. Wow. Sunnyside was in Boston Harbor on May 30th, 1980, for Boston's 350th anniversary. She participated in the Tall Ships Parade with catboats and friendship sloops. Sunnyside's big S on her sail lets you know she was there. She was pulled out of the water in the early 80s and parked at 55 Sunnyside Avenue in Stamford for the restoration. Dad documents the restoration. I believe this presentation was done for the Broadaxe Award ceremony. Over the years, many people worked on Sunnyside. That, of course, included Bucky and his children, as well as his employees at his business, Vulcan Surplus. Plus, he was fortunate to know many talented craftspeople that included those from Lueders Marine Construction in Stamford, Connecticut, some of whom had worked on the construction of the America's Cup boat Weatherly at Lueders. Sitting pretty and ready to go. This time we paint with the tides. Tom under the boat and Uncle Pitch standing by. When a restored Sunnyside was launched, Bucky had a new level of fun with his boat. Boat parades, catboat and antique boat get-togethers, and more sails with family and friends. He was happiest when aboard. The Broadaxe Award for recognition of the restoration of an old catboat was, of course, a high point in his life. The award stated, and I quote, "The recipient of this Broadaxe Award decided to buy a bottomless 1905 Herbert Crosby cat and had her delivered to his backyard in 1962 on a flatbed truck. This period was known as the Resurrection. Work started immediately, reframing, replanking, and redecking with the help of his family and friends. She was relaunched in 1969. This man, whose middle name is Work, was not satisfied, so now came the period known as the Restoration. Everything needed replacement or repairs, and was done, including new mast, boom, gaff, stainless fittings, transom, coamings, etc. The boat was relaunched in 1984. Having a sail on Sunnyside was a favorite with Bucky's friends, among them cartoonist Peter Wells, a catboat owner as well, often would give him a cartoon after each sail. And yes, Sunnyside's galley was never used. A catboat birthday cake. Sunnyside shared Bucky's birthday that year. What can I say? There is nothing like sailing the boat you resurrected and restored. Most of all, thanks, Dad, for having a dream and making it happen. After Dad retired and for Mom's health reasons, he decided to see if Sunnyside should have a new owner. After selling Sunnyside, Bucky took to Stamford Harbor with his rowing skiff, Liberty. He had her docked at Ponus Yacht Club and would go out each day when the weather allowed. As a son of Stamford, he was protective and knowledgeable of the waterfront and would take reporters from the Stamford Advocate out in Liberty and talk about what he saw. Whether the cormorant and oyster population were low or the herons and swans weren't nesting. All of it meant something to him, and he wanted others to know this was happening. Whether the name of the boat is Sunnyside, Susan, Suspect, or Marvel, she will always remain a member of our family. There are still many stories to tell of the sails that Dad took in Long Island Sound and along the Atlantic coast. Just ask my siblings. Thank you, John Conway, for taking on the challenge of putting her back in the water. We look forward to sail sometime soon. With love, Bucky's and Kay's kids. I'd like to dedicate this presentation to my family and to the memory of my mother and father, and especially to my son Matthew, who looked forward to spending summers in Connecticut and loved going out on the water with Grandpa.